9 things Americans do that Brits don't. Let's have a look at this and see what the Americans are doing that we aren't.
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to the things we do as people. It turns out that there are just things that people in one country do that the people in the other country do not do.
I already know one. Americans smile, Brits don't. Honestly, like in England, like everyone, when you go outside, everyone's grumpy. And every time I talk to an American, they say they go outside and everyone's happy.
Today, we're going to take a look at 9 things that Americans do that Brits don't. And take that title with a grain of salt, okay? It's very much a generalization. Of course, many of the things on this list probably are practiced by some people, some pedants over in Britain. I said pedants, not peasants. But for the most part, on the whole, generally speaking, how many other ways can you say that? Americans do these things more than Brits. Now, if I'd have done this list maybe 12 years ago before I moved to the United States, there are some things I would have included that have since caught on in Britain. So, you know, baby showering or queuing up for the Black Friday sales or getting a coffee to go. So since there's more of a level playing field in regard to those things, I'm just going to leave them off the list. And given that we're all presently trapped in our bunkers, even the ones that did make it onto the list probably shouldn't temporarily, including this.
Right, here we go. What we got? There's no way I guessed the absolute first one. Like, it actually is true. It's not just me that thinks it. It is actually true.
Strangers, which I suppose is what I'm doing to you right now. So I'm a hypocrite in a way. And you know what? I think when I first encountered this is when you're walking along, say, a footpath, or you're in a parkway, and someone you've never met, maybe they've got a dog, they just look at you and smile. It sounds creepy when I put it like that. And at first it was. I thought I was going to get mugged, right? British people value their personal space, right? Don't enter that zone. And so whenever that happened, it was a little off-putting. But
that don't mean you can't go to the UK and not smile at people.
I got used to it when I realised that Americans are just really friendly, and this is a good thing, right? And so I not only came to embrace this, but I started doing it myself, and you know, people got a bit creeped out by the British teeth. I can't help that. It's just something I'm born with, and so you're gonna have to accept it from now on.
Do you reckon that's the reason why? Do you reckon every American right now in the comment section is saying that's the reason why?
I must say though that during this sort of weird situation we find ourselves in, if anybody smiled at me while I was going out to take the trash out, I'd run for the hills. We don't have hills in Chicago, so I'd be lost.
Hello?
Similarly, which is a word I had to say about 10 times before I got right, Americans might greet you not only with a smile, but by saying, how are you? Or what's up?
That doesn't happen
these
here.
don't mean, you know, are you okay or anything like that. It just means hello, right? And it's, in a way, it's sort of similar to how we Brits say, all right. And we're not asking if you're okay. We're simply saying hello. So in many ways, there are similarities.
Yeah, true. To be fair, like, I live in an apartment block, and when I pass somebody in an apartment, I always go and they always go, you're right. But you don't actually want a response. Do you know what I mean? You just go, you're right.
Between the two, I don't really know why that is. Are we just trying to soften and euphemize the word hello in the same way that we would with death or going to the toilet? It's really odd when you think about it, but we both do it. Should I start my videos with, all right, I'm Lawrence, and I'm...
right.
No, I won't do that. What I will do is go on to our next entry.
Flags. Okay.
I did talk about this in a video just recently that, you know, American families and how...
Americans are way more passionate than Brits. Like, it's just how it is. You guys are very passionate.
And things like that are very prone to having the flag flying outside. And I found that it really doesn't matter which party you vote for or anything like that. People will still fly the flags regardless of that, particularly on July the 4th. But you will
I imagine a lot of flags everywhere.
On numerous houses. And that's not to say that we don't fly the flag in Britain, but we usually reserve that for very special occasions like football.
I was just about to say that. The only time I see a British flag flying is during the World Cup and like Euros or something like. So the football's on, everyone's going to be flying the flag and stuff. You never, honestly, I may have seen it like once or twice, but it's very rare to see an English flag. Someone flying it or something when there's not an event on.
matches, which are very special occasions these days. There's just sort of, maybe there's more pride in the flag here, or it symbolizes so much more, and therefore it gets used. And when I say it symbolizes so much more, I mean, it really does. You've got the 50 stars representing each of the 50 states, and then you've got the 13 stripes representing each of the original 13 colonies. And so it's symbolic in many ways, and, you know, it's part of the lexicon even. You've got words like Old Glory, Stars and Stripes, and things like that. And so it's just, it's a very pervasive part of American culture.
It's cool.
Date formats. You know, again, I've spoken about this before on the channel, but
listen, the date format, right? I know you guys do it differently, but it doesn't make sense, right? Like, surely you guys, I know so many Americans watch my video. I don't want to offend anyone, but listen. Why, like, day, month, year just makes so much sense. Do you know what I mean? And it would be more understandable if it was year, month, day. To be fair, it don't matter that much. You know what I mean? But yeah.
It's very much worthy of inclusion, because when I first
month,
moved
day,
to the United States, it was very hard for me to get out of my head the British way of writing the date, which is to put the day first, the month second, and then the year. So it's sort of in order of unit, right? The smallest entity, the day, the second smallest, and then the third smallest.
America's just like,
or is it to the largest? It's so hard to word that correctly without confusing yourself. I'm not a mathematician, and that was evident in my early days of trying to get my head around the American date format. It's not hard. I mean, you obviously just switch the day and the month around. But it's that thing you've known all your life. You're having to unlearn.
Gotta get a little bit used to it.
And eventually, working in an office every day for 5 years, the American way of doing things really did sort of cement itself in my head. And I came good on that front. And I think now if I were to move back to Britain, it'd be the other problem. And I'd have a hard time adapting. And if I tell everybody that, you know, my birthday is 11/18/1981, they'll think I invented 6 more months. And, you know, will kick me out of the country again for forgery. That's not what that means.
Yeah, that is trippy. I can't lie.
General falsehoods. Oh, and while I'm on the subject of birthdays, that brings me on to our next entry. Tailgating was such an alien concept to me when I first moved to America, and in many ways it still is, and that's mainly because I don't own a truck and or go to sports events, because that's what happens. When I talk about tailgating, I'm not just talking about, you know, when you drive too closely behind another car. I'm talking about that kind of thing that Americans do at sports events outside of sports stadiums or anywhere else where they can park it, and they just casually light a barbecue and drink beer.
What?
And, I mean, they look fun. It's just, I've never been invited to one, so pity me. Come on, feel sorry for me. It's never happened. The best you're going to get outside of sports stadiums in Britain is people selling pirated DVDs. I've just realised, actually, those pirate DVD sellers they're probably struggling right now.
It's actually true. But yeah, that tailgate, that's how we need that in the UK. That sounds sick.
Because A, there's a pandemic on, and B, no one uses DVDs anymore.
True.
Actually, I suppose nobody is doing our next entry, including me, so I'm going to leave this to Lawrence from Christmas to explain. Anybody that's followed...
I already know where we're going with this. Listen, I am jealous that you Americans have refill drinks. Like, you go to a restaurant, you get your food, and then make sure your drink is always top. Oh my God. I would honestly, I would move there just for that, because I love drinking. I have a drink. Honestly, if you watch my videos, you'll see me always have a drink. I always need a drink by my side. I always need to be drinking. When I go out, it's a hassle. Like, you know, when you drink your first drink, and then you gotta get the waiter, because the service isn't as good as you guys. You gotta get the waiter. Takes 10 minutes. Takes ages. I'll go up to the bar and buy another drink. It's so long.
On my channel now for a while will know that I have feelings on free refills. In fact, I did an entire video about it. And while they are all the rage here, and of course you'll find them in most fast food outlets and other places, there is one clarification I have to make here. You will find free refills as an option in places like Subway in the United Kingdom. So in some capacity...
Yeah, like, there is places where you do get free refills, and you can pay extra for the free refill. But that's only some places.
See, America has exported it, but it is by no means as universal in the United Kingdom as it is in the United States. And as I've said before, I think the temptation of knowing that I could get a free cup of pop on top of the one that I've already had is what made me give up pop in the first place. So I do have that to thank America for.
Okay.
Of course, if you are American and you have the willpower to stay away from the free refills, more power to you.
Ice
Free
water.
refills
Oh,
or
I love
not,
ice.
you know, Americans do like their water to be very cold, and I'm not talking about their bath water. Can you imagine having an ice bath? Do they? That is weird.
Honestly, this is where I think I'm a bit different to the average British person, because a lot of people I know, they don't have ice. They don't have ice for their drinks. They'll just have a drink. Right now, I have apple juice, and I put loads. That's half my apple juice, and it's like 4 ice cubes still in there. Yeah, I need a lot of ice. Every drink, I love to have ice in there.
They put lots of ice in their water occasionally, and you'll find this happening in restaurants.
Even in water as well.
People do it in the comfort of their own homes too. And this was somewhat of an alien concept to me before I moved to the US. I think maybe it's because we live in a mildish climate in Britain. We don't feel the need to do that. And the water in Britain tends to come out of the tap quite cold anyway, so that usually suffices. But actually, I have come to appreciate this.
Wait, does it not? In America, does it not come out cold? Like really cold in America? He was saying it then, like, in the UK, we have a lot colder water coming out of the tap.
Because during the summertime in Chicago, or previously where I lived in Indiana, you know, it gets very, very hot. Sometimes it can get over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Jesus. And if you go out for a run in that weather, and that's
you
not
need
me,
the
I
ice.
don't run. But if you do, you're going to perspire like crazy, right? So not only do you need just water in general, it is nice to have it with ice.
It makes sense.
Because it cools you down. Like it's ice cold, and you're catching your breath because it's going so dry from all the heat. They'll even buy bags of ice here in America.
Yeah, I get bags
of ice from the store, and I still don't know why people do that. I know because you have ice trays and you put them in the freezer. Am I missing something?
So that you can have ice for a party.
Oh right.
To be fair, I have ice trays. The ice in my drink right now is ice trays, but I normally do prefer to get bags of ice. Because I just feel like it's just easier. Do you know what I mean? You just if you need to chop it up with a knife a little bit, just break it. Just get the ice. Or if it's already broken, you just grab the ice, chuck it in. You know, let's have some.
Right, like a tailgating party, or just generally a party.
Any party.
Any party in the summer.
Or winter.
Who has ice in the winter? I mean, in the drink.
Floridians?
That's true. Is it even winter in Florida, though, when it's winter here?
Yes, but no.
Not the same.
Not the same.
This one seemed really strange for the first few months of living in America. People going out to the store in their pajamas and sweatpants and things like that. It's as if they don't care about what they look like while, you know, traversing Walmart, which I can understand. It's not really...
See, the only person I know that goes out in her pajamas is my sister. She used to do that. She actually used to go to the shop in pajamas, but other than her, I thought she was just weird. Other than her, there's no one else.
Something you would find back in Britain. I'm not saying we dress our Sunday best to go shopping, but we at least make an effort, put on jeans.
Yeah, maybe not shopping, just local shops. You can do
that. Going out in their gym jams, their jammies, PJs, right? And I'm not exempt from that, especially right now. I mean, I don't care what I want people to avoid me, so of course I go out in my pajamas or anything. Crazy. I went out in this the other day. These aren't my pajamas. That's just me looking like a Sith Lord, a dime store Sith Lord, but nonetheless a Sith Lord. And I suppose in many ways it speaks to that American tendency toward comfort. But this is not just a pandemic era thing. I mean, people have been doing this for centuries. Probably.
Mad.
Pajamas?
Yeah.
I feel like that started in the 90s.
So there weren't people going in the 19th century going out with their sort of sleeping cap on and things like that to their local blacksmiths or whatever.
That's crazy.
It. Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond.
That.
Don't forget to follow me
really good video.
Here on YouTube so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. What are you laughing at? I know it looked like a crotch chop. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, so if you like what you saw here, follow me on Twitter at Lost in the Pond US. You'll get
really good video though. Enjoyed that. Let me know if you guys got any other ideas what you guys do over there that you think that we don't do here. If you guys enjoyed as well, if you didn't, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.